Vegas, where today the Minnesota Twins face the Baltimore Orioles in Grapefruit League action from South Florida. Welcome to Twins Baseball on Fox Sports North. I'm Tom Hanneman, and Twins fans getting their first look during spring training at some fresh faces and some familiar ones as well. Tommy Hammond competing for the final spot in the Twins rotation on the mound yesterday. Today, it's Ervin Santana for the Twins. 17-6 lifetime in spring training. Corey Provis, Dan Gladden, next.
Split doubleheader. Have a night game later tonight. For the Baltimore, leading off playing center field, Xavier Avery. In center field, batting second, third baseman was Steve Tollison. Batting third in left field, Hyun-Soo Kim. Batting fourth, first baseman Christian Walker. Henry Urrutia will DH and bat fifth. Batting sixth, catching Caleb Joseph. Ryan Flaherty will be on second base, batting seventh. Batting eighth. And in right field will be Dario Alvarez. And Paul Janisch will be at shortstop, batting ninth. Pitching for Baltimore here this afternoon. 5 starts last year with Baltimore, went 2-2. Will be Tyler Wilson. Here's the starting lineup for your Minnesota Twins. Managed by Paul Molitor. It'll be Brian Dozier at second base leading off. Joe Mauer bats second. Play first base. Miguel Sano in right field bats third. Batting fourth. At third base will be Trevor Plouffe. Eddie Rosario in left field bats fifth. Byung-Ho Park will DH and bat sixth. Batting seventh, Twin shortstop Eduardo Escobar. Kurt Suzuki catches this afternoon, batting eighth. And Byron Buxton will bat ninth and play center field. Pitching for Minnesota, 7-5 last year with Minnesota in 17 starts. Right-hander Ervin Santana. Umpires, it'll be Jeff Kellogg calling balls and strikes. Brian Honora, the umpire at first base. Marvin Hudson at second base. And Tim Timmons, the umpire at third base. Twins have taken the field, and to get you started, here's Corey Provis.
All right, Danny, thank you. Twins today are sporting that brand new red uniform top that they will feature on home Fridays throughout the regular season. It's a bright red jersey, TC logo on the left side, T in white, the C in blue, white pants. It's a red cap, blue bill, TC logo on the front as well. Baltimore, the orange tops, gray trousers, black cap, black bill. As Danny mentioned, the Orioles a split squad game today. They'll host Tampa Bay tonight. So many of the regulars that the Orioles will feature are still in Sarasota, prepping for that one later on tonight. Baltimore, Danny, a year ago went 81-81, finished third in the AL East. And they were a team at this point last year that were facing a lot of roster questions. So many looming free agents, yet outside of Wei and Chen and maybe a few other guys, they did retain most of those players.
You know, one of the notes that they have in the Baltimore Orioles last 4 seasons, these guys have won since 2012 more games than anybody. So with that being said, they're well managed. Buck Showalter, 3-time manager of the year. So he's at the helm and most likely going to head back after the ball game tonight and manage that game tonight.
Xavier Avery, Steve Tollefson, and Hyun-Soo Kim due up for the Orioles in this first inning. Avery briefly in the Twins organization was signed in July of last year. 38 games at Rochester. 5 homers, 23 knocked in for Mike Quaddy. Swings out the first pitch from Irvin Santana and floats one foul off to the left side. And with that, we're underway here at the CenturyLink Sports Complex. Santana with that bright red glove comes home in the 0-1. There's a fastball missing down and inside. It's a 1-1 count to Avery. Irvin Santana, 17 starts, 7-5 last year. And the 1-1, a swing and a foul back. And now it's 1-2. Danny, think about his Twins debut. This was after the suspension. It was in early July in Kansas City. He was terrific. Twins lost that game. July was good. August was not. September, though, was stellar. A 1.88 ERA during those key stretches in the month of September.
He's one of the guys that helped the Twins stay in contention late in the season.
Slider, swing and a miss, and Avery is gone. There's that put-out pitch. That slider, nasty down and inside. Avery is retired. So 1 up, 1 down. Irvin last year averaged about 7 punch-outs per night.
Hey, you look at his little year last year, kind of, you stretch it out. He only had 17 starts. This year, Twins looking to get a good 30-32 starts out of the right-hander.
Righty-righty matchup. Steve Tollefson is the batter. He chops one to third. On the short hop, Trevor Plouffe. An ankle-high pick and a good throw across. Shoulder-high to Mauer. So quickly 2 down. Tollefson, a non-roster invitee, been around. He bounces out to third. And now this game today is garnering some attention in Korea. Not just because of Byung-ho Park for the Twins, but the young man batting right now, 28-year-old left fielder Hyun-Soo Kim. Played for Doosan in the KBO. Park played for Nexon in that same league. In fact, these two players met in the playoffs last year. And here is Kim batting, hits left-handed, and he's behind a strike call, 0-1. Kim 0 for 9 so far in his Grapefruit League debut. Signed a 2-year contract around Christmas. And the 0-1 line to the right side. Dozier, a snow cone catch. The Twins second baseman about 3 steps out of the grass in shallow right. Hung on long enough. And Irvin Santana with a 1-2-3 opening inning. We've played 1/2 in Fort Myers. Orioles nothing. Twins coming up on your home for Twins baseball. A 7-pitch 1-2-3 first for Irvin Santana. Now the Twins offense. To work for the first time today. Brian Dozier, Joe Mauer, Miguel Sano. 1-2-3. Couldn't help but look at the Twins lineup today. Dozier, Mauer, Sano, Plouffe, Rosario Park, Escobar, Suzuki, and then Buxton. This is a comparable to 9 of the 9 we saw a couple days back, but this order is pretty intriguing. With Mauer in the 2 spot and Dozier leading off, could this be the opening 9 we see against this Orioles club on April 4th to begin the 2016 season? We'll find out as Dozier takes outside. Ball 1. Dozier, his Great for League debut a couple days back. 3 for 3. Couple of doubles. And now the 1-0 from Wilson. That runs outside and low. 2 balls and no strikes. Tyler Wilson, 26 years old, is a rookie. Pitched at 9 games last year, 5 starts. He is competing for that number 5 spot in this Orioles rotation with Mike Wright. And the 2-0. That's over and in for a strike called. Wilson not overpowering. Even his minor league numbers, not a ton of strikeouts. Doesn't walk too many. Although his strikeouts per 9 were elevated somewhat at AAA. Not so much, though, during his short stint at the big league level last year. And now the 2-1. Dozier swings and launches left field and deep. Kin going back at the wall and gone. Landing on the berm and straightaway left field. Dozier, who owns 13 career leadoff homers, has the leadoff shot here in the Grapefruit League. 1-0 Twins.
Almost looked like he had been staying away and tried to come down and in with a little bit of sink. And Dozier, usually we're seeing Dozier hit that ball up in his eyes, and that one looked like it was a pretty good pitch down and in. Dozier knew it as soon as he left the batter's box.
Landing in the berm, a fan seated, really lying down in a towel spread out. On the berm, she got up and said, 1-0 Twins. I'm going to pull a Provis and get out of the way. As Joe Mauer's behind a strike call, 0-1. How about Dozier, Danny? 4 at bats, 4 hits, 3 extra base hits.
Put him on ice. He's ready to go. Start the season.
Mauer behind 0-1. Wilson from the windup. Mauer taps one on the ground, right side near the bag at first. Walker picks it up, 2 steps unassisted to the base. 4 out, number 1. Mauer had a base hit the other night. A couple of at bats as the Twins lost here to the Red Sox 6-5. So now Sano batting third. Did this lineup catch your attention as well? You look at not just the names, but where they're kind of positioned.
I think if anything, where they're positioning in the order, and I think you like what you have here with power at the top. We talked about it with Dozier. You've got Mauer that's going to kind of get on base with some walks, but also some hits, some doubles. And then you got the boppers coming up, and this guy in particular we talked about. Rather than trying to have him down on the bottom part of the power order, have him in that 3 slot.
Base is empty, 1 down. Strike called on Miguel Sano. 18 homers, 52 knocked in 80 games in his rookie season. Sano at about 260 pounds here in camp. Off speed, check swing, tapper, foul. That'll bounce near the screen outside the Orioles' first base dugout. 0-2 the count. Wilson, 4-seam fastball, low 90s, slider, and he'll throw a changeup more to lefties than to righties. Throw a sinker as well. Trevor Plouffe on deck. Catcher sets up away. The 0-2 is a breaking pitch, and Sano chases, strikes out, swinging good. 0-2 pitch that time from Wilson, and Sano is gone on 3 strikes. So 2 down, Twins by 1. Here's Trevor Plouffe coming off a 22 homer, 86 RBI season. Trevor hit .244 last year. Set career highs in many offensive categories. And he lines one to short, and a leaping grab made by Giannis. Caught that ball about shoulder high. Plouffe lines out. Inning is over, but Dozier leads off with a home run to left field. And after 1, Twins have a 1-0 lead. Glenn Perkins will join us live from the Twins dugout next on your home for Twins baseball. Twins lead 1-0. Irvin Santana misses down and away to Christian Walker, right-handed batting first baseman, to begin the Baltimore second. Corey Danny with you upstairs. We're now joined live from the Twins dugout by all-star closer Glenn Perkins as Walker lofts one foul to the right side. It's a 1-1 count.
Toward my car in the parking lot.
What happened?
That was launched toward my car in the parking lot right there.
Really?
Good. I didn't hear anything, though.
Good.
Good.
Santana from the windup. And now the 1-1 is inside, and that one nearly hit Christian Walker. So a 2-1 count to the first baseman. You had your first outing a couple days back. Good to get that first one out of the way.
It is. That's I was one of the nerve-wracking ones, that one, and kind of the first game in the regular season. But it's good to get the first one out of the way. It was a tough adjustment pitching at night. I was usually getting ready to go to bed, and then here I am out on the mound. So, but it went well. I threw strikes and got ahead of hitters and had a good, clean first outing, which is nice.
Are there nerves because of the injury that occurred in the same situation last year against the Gophers?
No, it's that first one. I hadn't been on a mound since September facing hitters in a game. So, you do the bullpens, you do the live batting practice, and there's nothing like being out in front of a crowd and facing another hitter where you don't have a protective screen and those things. So it's a different feeling.
Ground ball to the right side. Dozier knocks it down off his chest, recovers, but his throw will pull Maurer off the bag. And Walker is on. Hit sharply, and Dozier could not field that one cleanly on a couple of bounces. So Walker is aboard. Twins by 1 here in the Orioles second.
Hey, Perk, is velocity important for you right now this time of the year?
Just in the sense that I like to see where I'm starting from, because then it gives me a good idea where I'll be at the end of camp. So no, I by no means was I out there throwing, with 100%. I don't want to say 100% effort. I mean, I was out there trying to keep the ball in the strike zone. I didn't cut anything loose, but knowing that where I pitched at and how I threw and the velocity that I had, but how the ball was coming out, I was happy with, and knowing that there was more in the tank, and then obviously the arm strength throughout spring training is going to build a little bit. So I was happy with where I was at the first game.
Dozier charged with an error. Henry Urrutia is the batter, left-handed hitting DH, and he looks at a pitch down low. It's a 1-1 count. As we visit with three-time All-Star closer Glenn Perkins. You spent a lot of time here in southwestern Florida this offseason. How come? What was different about this winter for you?
I think part of it is as you get older, it gets harder to prepare. There's more distractions at home, and not that family and those things are distractions, but it's, they pull you in different directions. So I kind of wanted to make a commitment to the way the last 2 years finished, being healthy, and with this team on the cusp of the playoffs last year, and hopefully our expectations are higher, and hopefully we'll be in a better position this year. I want to be a part of that. I wasn't able to be a part of the second half of the season really last year, and it would have been a struggle in the playoffs too. I just where I was at, so I wanted to make a commitment to just being there for the team and knowing that the season is long, and as you age, it gets harder to prepare. So it was much easier for me to prepare down here, play catch outside, work with Eric Beazer, our minor league strength coordinator, and have Landon Tucker, our one of our trainers here too. It was a huge help for me, just recovering from the back injury and getting prepared for this season in a way that I haven't done before.
Walker at first base, full count on Urrutia. 1-0 Twins, nobody out in the second. Runner goes, and the 3-2 line fouled on the left field side.
Hey, Perk, last year Neil Allen came over, a long time Rick Anderson replaced. How big of an influence was he last year on the pitching staff, and a little more comfortable with him going in this year?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with him, everyone's heard about the changeup and how he likes to use that and how many more we threw, how much more success we had throwing it. But just having a different voice, a different philosophy, and in the same way that a change of scenery is good for players sometimes, a change there is also good. And I think there was a little more life on our team. There was a little bit more optimism. And I've talked to him this spring about how much different it is for him not being here for his first time. And last year he was trying to learn everybody. He wasn't just trying to learn the 10, 12 new pitchers that we have in camp this year. He was trying to learn guys that have been in the big leagues for 6, 7, 8, 10 years, trying to learn everybody at the same time. So now he's got a good base of guys that he knows how to work with them, how they respond to certain instruction and how they don't, and then just learning a few guys. And so it's been a lot smoother for him, he said, and it's been noticeable. I mean, he's a lot more comfortable this year. I think he established himself well last year with our rotation, with our bullpen, and our pitching staff as a whole. So he's fit in well, and the season went great for our pitchers, the way we had been going, and now he's a lot more comfortable, and it's showing a little bit here in spring, but I know that he's enjoying this spring a lot more than he enjoyed last spring.
Urrutia walks, so 2 on, nobody out. Ball 1 to Caleb Joseph. He'll be the backup catcher behind Matt Wieters as he pops one up shallow right down the line. Mauer out, and Mauer makes a basket catch.
Nice play.
Over the shoulder grab. Joe at his back, kind of aimed towards the bag at second as he went out at a shallow right. Really no chance for Dozier nor Sano, so it was either Mauer or a base hit. And Joe made a good play. 1 out, runners hold at first and second.
Dozier seemed to be helping him out there as his eyes, as to letting him know where to throw the ball afterwards. So good play right there by Joe.
It's 2 on, 1 down, and Ryan Flaherty.
Perk, New Jersey's being shown out here today. You're going to be wearing these on Friday home ball games. You liking them?
I do. You know, the ones that we had at Twins Fest weren't the same as these. They were more of a screen printed kind of, I think, like pre-production jerseys, and they didn't look as sharp. I think these look pretty good out on the field. They're going to look really good under the lights, too, on those Friday nights. I think, you know, like we saw, I guess we wore the white ones, but the red, it's a sharp look. I think they did a good job with them, and I think that the little gold trim they got, I'm sure Corey has already described the uniforms to the listeners.
I have? What?
Go ahead, give it a try.
But I like what they've done with them, with the interlocking white tee with the blue C and the
look at that,
and the gold trim.
Pretty good
on a red jersey.
Pretty good there.
Don't forget the piping.
Don't forget the piping.
I can't see. Here I'll look at Tony Oliva standing by me. We got some blue, gold, and red piping as well. But yeah, they look good. I like them. I like them more than I thought I was going to.
2 balls and no strikes on Ryan Flaherty. A Brian Dozier homer in the first. Twins lead by 1. Baltimore is 2 on, 1 out. Christian Walker at second base. Henry Urrutia at first. Twins are at double play depth. Buxton shallow straight away in center. And the 2-0 pitch is lined towards the gap in left center. It's going to get down for a base hit. Walker rounding third, heading home. Buxton's throw to the plate will just not be in time as Walker scores sliding. And Baltimore ties the game up at an RBI single from Ryan Flaherty. It's a 1-1 score. Still runners at first and second, 1 out.
Hey, Perk, you talked earlier about the family. You want to get down here to kind of a distraction a little bit, but at the same time, very rewarding to have your family down here and experience spring training as well. It's got to be a thrill for them.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's such a unique experience, I think, for the kids, and they don't realize it now, but I just could imagine growing up. I mean, we came down to a spring training. I think it was 1996. We came down to Fort Myers as a family and watched spring training, the Twins, and for them to be able to be a part of the whole thing. Just I as a kid, if I got to come down to Florida for a month and do a couple hours of schoolwork in the morning and then have the rest of the day to play and swim, I think I'd be pretty happy. So I'm sure at some point in their lives they'll look back and enjoy the times. You know, and they're coming back down. They'll be back down tomorrow. So I'm excited to see them, excited to get them back down. And
ground ball towards short, diving stop. Escobar second for 1. The relay just not in time. Great diving effort by Escobar, the shortstop, to his left, had his chest on the ground as he gloved that hopper. A quick flip to Dozier for the force at second base, and Dozier's return throw just a tad late to get Alvarez. So down to third base goes Urrutia, out at second Flaherty. So 2 down, runners at the corners in a 1-1 game, and the batter is Paul Janisch.
Hey, Perk, as a pitcher, you always talk about the defensive plays behind you. You got to like what you're going to be out there, fielding out there this year.
Yeah, the improvement that we saw from a lot of our guys over the last couple years. And what Esky brings at short, too. He did a great job for us last year in a full-time role. And I mean, that play right there is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. You know, and obviously Dozier's a solid guy over there. But I think as much as anything, Trevor Plouffe, the way he's improved over the last couple of years is remarkable. And we all see the work he puts in early in the morning right now, and even during the season with Gene Glenn. He's over there a lot. He's worked really hard at being a good fielder, and he's become a really good fielder. Buxton and Rosario, I mean, we've seen what they can do. Rosario, especially last year. It'll be interesting to see how Sano fits in out there, but I think having Byron with the range he's got with Rosario and his range too is going to help Miggy a little bit in right field. So he'll get the hang of it. He's a lot more athletic, like a lot of people have talked about. He moves a lot better than you'd think for a guy his size, but you know, all the best teams in the game have good defense, and we're pretty good around the diamond now, and that's you know, like I talked about earlier with our pitching staff, how much better we pitched last year compared to the years past. Some of that's Neil Allen, and a lot of that is the defense, the quality of defense that we played behind our pitchers.
Fastball inside, 2-2 on the veteran Paul Janisch, longtime Cincinnati Reds shortstop. And the 2-2 pitch is lined to left. That's going to fall for a base hit towards the line. This will give the Orioles the lead. Urrutia scores. Down to second base goes Alvarez. So Paul Janisch, a 2-out run scoring base hit. And Baltimore has a 2-1 lead. What have been your impressions regarding some of the young arms, the power arms that we may see here this season out of the Twins bullpen? What have you seen from watching those young guys in various bullpen sessions here in camp?
You should ask my glove. I play catch with Shagway every day, and it's a brand new glove, and it's going to break one of these days. The thing's going to snap one of these days. No, it's fun to see. I think that's something, you know, that we haven't been as good at as other teams. You see a lot of other teams running guys out that throw really hard, but these guys, they throw hard. And I think that the coolest thing I've seen so far with Shag and with Birdie and with Jake Reed's another one is how hard they've worked in spring here. That they're there early, they're in the weight room, they're doing something. They're never really sitting around, and they're learning how to prepare. And they've asked some questions about what it's like in the big leagues and what to expect and those things, which is cool because all three of those guys are really close to being on this team, and those are names I think that Twins fans are going to hear in the next few years.
Avery launches to right down the line, but that's going to go foul.
There's some good arms, and they have a good idea of how to go about pitching and playing this game, which is good. They're not just hard throwers. It's a bonus that they throw as hard as they do, but you know, they've worked on pitches, they've worked on routines with warm-ups and things like that. They've asked me some questions, I've talked with them, so it's been good so far. And you know, not unlike what Matt Guerrero and Jesse Crane and Joe Nathan did for me earlier in my career, I'm trying to return that favor to these guys and get them ready, because I know that I'll be teammates with them at some point.
Santana misses inside, 3-1 on Xavier Avery. Pitch count getting up there for Irvin, 36. So the Twins have a righty up in the bullpen, Yorman Londa, who was added to the 40-man roster this offseason. And the 3-1 pitch is hit on the ground to the right side. That'll go foul. And now a full count, 3-2, as we chat here with Glenn Perkins. Can't help but think about 2015 and the first half. 28 for 28. Were you aware of that streak as it was moving along before the All-Star break?
No, I think it's cliche, but you move on from your game, whether it's a good game or a bad game, especially as a reliever where you know you're going to get another chance to go out there. So after I got the job done, every time I go out there, I try to do as well as I can, knowing that it's not always going to work out. And I was just fortunate that it did work out as well as it did in the first half. And so you pitch a game, you have success, and then you move on to the next day. You enjoy it just like we did with the dance parties. You enjoy it, and then you move on and get ready for the next one. So you know, and I'm not very superstitious or anything like that. So I just, like I said, try to go out there, do my job, and you know, it just worked out to where I ran up a pretty good streak. So it was fun, and you know, I just, as much fun as the first half was, that's how bad my second half was, and how little fun I had. So, you know, it left the season as a whole left a bad taste in my mouth, and you know, so I've tried to not think about, oh man, how good was I in the first half, because then I think about the second half. So I've tried to put that whole season in the rearview mirror, the streak and all that stuff, and the All-Star game and all those things. You try to move on and do it again this year and be better than I was last year.
3-2 is inside, ball 4. That's going to load him up, and Santana might have hit his pitch number. Paul Molitor inside the third base dugout is side by side with Neil Allen. Chris Suzuki's going to go out and chat with Irvin. Bases are loaded, 2 down. Santana's pitch count right now is reading at 40. And he had a 7-pitch first. 2-1 Baltimore, bases loaded. I'm going to bring up the veteran Steve Tollison.
You can see the early spring fatigue in his arm as this inning has gone on with the pitches, the location. In the first inning, the strikeout, ball down in the dirt. He's having trouble getting on top and keeping the ball down in the zone right now. But some of that is just, I mean, you throw, like I said, you throw 40 pitches. He's thrown 40 pitches this spring, but it's been, you know, in a live batting practice situation, a little bit more controlled. So you get out here and that you can see the fatigue setting in. It did with Duffy again the other night too.
And The 1-0 pitch, check swing liner going to go foul. So did you, I guess, experience that when you were starting earlier in your career? Did you have those same kind of issues?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to prepare. It really is. I mean, you get to spring training, and the time we have before games start is so short now that it's hard to get built up. So, you know, it is nice coming into a season like Urban is here, where he's going to be on the team and he's just trying to get his arm ready. And the performance thing, it was always hard for me as a starter, because you're not only trying to get ready for a season and build up arm strength, but you're trying to make a team. And you know, so it was kind of almost doubly hard, but it is tough getting ready. It's a lot easier as a reliever, and fortunately the other night I didn't have to throw too many pitches, or I would have hit the wall too, just like we're seeing here.
1-2 fastball down low, 2-2, and he's throwing everything. Perk, it's not just fastball, slider. We've seen some changeups to right-handed batters so far today.
Yeah, I think he's a guy. I remember that from last year, that he comes out and kind of works on everything at the same time, rather than, hey, I'm going to do this or I'm going to work on command. He wants to get all his pitches going at the same time, and every guy's different, and it's worked for him for a pretty long while now.
And off speed, missed out it inside, so another 3-2 count. It's Alvarez at third base, Giannis at second, Avery at first, Baltimore 2, Twins 1. It's lengthy second. Ronda ready to go in the bullpen if needed. And the 3-2 chopped foul down the third base side.
It's also part of the tough part here is you make a good pitch, they foul it off. So they're making that pitcher really kind of work out there. But one thing about Santana is when he's missing down in the zone, which is also good.
He does typically, and that's, I think, a little bit what we've seen this inning, some elevated pitches. He knows how to pitch. I think he knows how to pitch as well as anyone that I've played with. What he tries to do and the way he attacks the zone, it's impressive. I mean, it really is. And this is a first outing of spring training. I think I'd almost be worried if he was as sharp as he was in the first inning, because then he's going down to throw pitches in the pen, and you don't get the same thing out of that. He's better off out here throwing pitches in a game and building that arm strength that way.
He just threw his 40th pitch of this half inning that was fouled back. And again, the 3-2 got him. Swing and a miss, strike three, and a fastball at 94. The inning is over as the Orioles score 2 but leave 3. Perk, thanks as always for the time. Best of luck here in the remaining weeks down here.
Thanks, guys.
Glenn Perk joining us live. Baltimore bats 8 in the inning, scoring twice, leading the maximum. Head of the home second. In Fort Myers, Baltimore 2 20. We thank Glenn Perkins for his time. Back in the last half inning, Baltimore scoring twice, leading 2-1. Eddie Rosario, Young Hole Park, and Eduardo Escobar against Tyler Wilson. Young righty, a rookie, 26 years old, misses down and inside, ball one. Eddie Rosario, 13 homers, 50 knocked in, led all of Major League Baseball last year with 16 triples. 15 triples, 16 outfield assists. And the 1-0 pitch, ground ball to the right side. This is glove knee high with the second baseman Flaherty. And he throws out Rosario for out number 1. Now getting back to Glenn Perkins too, Danny, not just spending time down here, extra time down here this winter, but he changed his conditioning program, realizing that, yes, some of it has been due to injury, but also maybe just fatigue in the second half of the season. That has held him back the last couple of
Corey,
years.
that's always important for athletes to make sure that they understand their body. And, you know, during the course of the season, you can lose some weight. At times you can put some weight on. But it's a conditioning part. It's a long part of the season. But also with that conditioning comes a new diet. So I think that with the combination of what Perk is trying to do here, he's definitely ahead of the curve.
Young-Ho Park as he's behind a strike. And the 0-1 ground ball wide of third. Diving stop. Tollefson to his feet. Throws, and it's high. And it pops free of Walker. And trying for second base is Park, and he's going to make it with a slide. Tollefson at third base. A great diving play. Popped to his feet. His throw was high. Walker, leaping attempt, got a piece of it. Could not completely catch it. Then the ball trickled into foul territory. And Park wasted little time. He was off for second base, and he got in safely.
Those are the instincts part of the play right there. He recognized that. What was good about him is that he kind of looked to his right to pick that ball up right away and didn't hesitate. He made a good turn to second base, and Twins have an opportunity.
E5. Base hit. So E5, and Park is at second base. As Danny's transportation when we leave is flying above. That'll land on Tom Kelly Field in a couple of hours. Be traffic. Ground ball to short. Escobar batting. This is fielded by Giannis, and he throws out the Twin shortstop. So down to third base goes Park. 2-1 Baltimore. 2 down. Park at third. It's up to Kurt Suzuki. I'll say goodbye to winter in Minnesota and report to spring training on the beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel. Experience Florida's most natural beaches and islands at FortMyersSanibel.com. So 2 down. Let's see if Suzuki can tie this thing up. 2-1 Orioles in the second. Righty against righty, and the pitch to the Twins catcher is a strike call. That's 0-1, a fastball.
You know, Corey, to go back to Park about the heads-up play, advancing to second base on that error. Those are the things that you want to look at. I think you know that he's got pretty good raw power. It's the instincts there. How's he going to field ground balls? Is he going to throw to the right base? How well does he run the bases?
And now the 0-1 is bounced foul off Suzuki, the batter's box. Looking down at Twins bullpen down the left field line. Up next to pitch in a clean inning will be Jose Barrios. Looking forward to seeing his Grapefruit League debut today. Byron Buxton would bat next if Suzuki can extend this inning. 2-1 Orioles in the second. Park at third base, 2 outs. 0-2 on the Twins catcher. And the pitch is bounced foul. Breaking ball that time that the catcher Caleb Joseph was set up down and away, but that one more over the heart of the plate. And Suzuki rolled it foul back behind. Another nice crowd today. Good gathering on the berm and left. Boardwalk packed. Foul pole to foul pole. And the 0-2. Yankee pitch up and inside, but just above the hand. Suzuki swings and knocks it off the screen behind the plate. Mentioned that Wilson is competing for the number 5 spot of the Orioles rotation. The rest of the Baltimore starting look: Chris Tillman, free agent Giovanni Gallardo signed to a 2-year deal, Miguel Gonzalez, and Kevin Gossman, who's pitching tonight in Sarasota against Tampa Bay. With 2 outs, and again the 0-2 pitch. Suzuki bangs one to left, hooking towards the corner. It's going to land for a base hit. Scoring is Park. 2 strike count. Suzuki delivers as he loops one to left. And that ties things up at 2. The Twins cash in on the error from Tollefson. Both teams, in fact, able to score in this inning, taking advantage of errors. Dozier had one in the second, top half of this inning, and Tollefson in the bottom half leads to a run. So here's Byron Buxton. Still a rookie. 129 at bats last year. To lose your rookie status, if you exceed 130, you're no longer a rookie. So he just got by. So to maintain that status, and he's behind a strike, 0-1. Buxton 2 homers, 6 knocked in during his stint last year with the Twins. He's 1 for 5 so far in the Grapefruit League. And Suzuki leads with 2 down. And the 0-1 is chopped to third. Tolleson better hurry. He gloves. He'll go the short way to second base for the force out. Suzuki in time to end the inning. But the Twins able to score on the error from Tolleson. Suzuki ties things up. A run on a hit, an error. They lead 1 through 2. It now reads Twins 2, Orioles 2. From Fort Myers, this is Twins Baseball. Well, it is truly one of the special days of the season. It's the home opener. Get your tickets to be at Target Field on April 11th when the Twins take on the Chicago White Sox. The first 30,000 fans receive a Twins hoodie, courtesy of your local Northland Ford dealers. Get your tickets now at twinsbaseball.com/tickets. Game tied 2-2. Baltimore to bat in the third. Twins have a new pitcher and the new arm, right-hander Jose Barrios, 6 feet, 187 pounds. Terrific athlete, in great shape. He'll turn 22 in late May. Barrios among the top prospects in the game. And his first offering is a strike called on Hyun-Soo Kim, Christian Walker on deck, and then Henry Urrutia. Barrios has been named the Twins minor league pitcher of the year back-to-back seasons. And the 0-1 runs outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Baseball America tabbing Barrios as having the best curveball, best changeup, and best control in the Twins system. Works off the first base side, and now the 1-1. Fastball away at 95. It's a 2-1 count. Now Danny Jose is in camp, competing for maybe one last spot on the Twins rotation. And now the 2-1 is tapped on the ground to the right side. Mauer fields off first. Barrios covering, got there in plenty of time. Play goes 3-1, 1 away.
Showed some athleticism right there and covering first base. Good communication there between Mauer and Barrios. But you talk about him fighting for that spot. He's a good guy to have to back into that rotation. And what you talked about, pitcher of the year, back-to-back seasons, but he's got such good command of all of his pitches, and he's learning to pitch, and he's getting a little more velocity.
Joined now by a special guest as Christian Walker hits here in the Orioles' third. Game tied at 2. We welcome Karen Feldman, cuisine columnist from the Florida Weekly. One of my favorite things to do down here is to eat. And you are probably the expert, considering what you do and the The restaurants you cover, as that one is banged to left center in the alley. Rosario chasing. That was going to go over his head, hit the warning track, and end up near the wall. So Christian Walker with a one-out double. But Karen, thanks for stopping by. And again, there's so much to do down here. You've got baseball, you've got the water, but man, you can eat.
Well, you have to eat in order to have enough energy to do all the fun things that we have here. So, yeah, there's plenty to eat, and seafood obviously is one of our big draws. And everybody likes the grouper sandwich. There's plenty of places to have a great grouper sandwich, and other really good things that people might not know about. Hogfish. Hogfish is a spear-caught fish. It's very flaky and light, and if you can get it, if you see it on a menu, order it. It's great fish. And, of course, you're lucky enough, if you're down here during the spring training, to be here during stone crab season.
Yeah.
The best crabs in the world.
Now we're talking.
You just eat the claws, and they're big and meaty, and you can dip them in mustard sauce, or you can dip them in butter, or spritz a little lemon and just
go to town.
Yeah.
Go to town.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Make a meal of them or an appetizer. They're on most of the menus down here, and they're just wonderful.
Strike called on Henry Urrutia. 2-1 the count. Baltimore batting in the third. Game tied 2-2. Christian Walker at second base.
Karen, one thing I've noticed down here is when you go to these restaurants, yes, the menu is fantastic food, but also you better get there a little bit early. Some of the lines could be a little bit long.
Yes, here the early bird special is kind of fashionable, because otherwise 6 o'clock, 6:30, and 7. Everybody wants to eat at 7. So the best thing to do is get there a little bit before that. Also, lunches, not only is it easier to get in at lunch, you get a better deal at lunch. So think about having your bigger meal then. You can get a really good seat. You get a better price. And the food's the same. So
Orioles misses outside, not by much, but ball forward to Urrutia. So first and second, one out. And the batter is Caleb Joseph. I understand that Fort Myers Beach has one of the largest shrimping fleets in the United States.
It does indeed. Pink gold is what we call it, the pink Gulf shrimp. You can get it on menus all over the place. And next weekend, the Fort Myers Beach Shrimp Festival will be having tons and tons of it. You in the streets, cooking it at all the little vendors. They'll have a shrimp parade, and there'll be shrimp in every possible version you can imagine. But if you're not lucky enough to be here for that, you can get it at every restaurant just about in town. Look for what says Gulf Pink, though, because not everybody gets their shrimp locally. But yes, that is the gold standard.
Swing and a miss, 0-2 on Caleb Joseph. Backup catcher behind Matt Wieters, who re-upped. In fact, Wieters accepted a qualifying offer. Up until really the 2015-16 offseason, players weren't doing that.
Yeah.
They weren't accepting those qualifying offers.
They were turning those down. The teams then would get a compensation draft, but he was one of the guys that, and I'm not sure if it's a new trend right now, but it's a ton of money to turn down and try to hit that free agent market.
Just shy of $16 million. I think it was $15.8 for that qualifying offer. Pitch is down and inside. Nice block that time. There's the changeup from Barrios, and he'll throw it to righties. He'll throw it to lefties. That's part of his makeup. Now, Barrios isn't. You look at him, Danny, and yes, he throws hard, but he's not this overpowering figure. He's 6 feet, 187 pounds, but in just great physical shape.
You talk to the players that face him, they come back, and because it's nothing dominating, it just they say that ball gets on you so quick.
2-2 is outside, ball 3, so 0-2 now, 3-2 on Joseph.
A good delivery, hides the ball well, comes out of his hand very good. You don't get a good look at it. But I'm going to go back to what you said. He's got good command of the changeup, good command of the breaking ball. Struggling a little bit right now.
And the 3-2 pitch is sent high and deep, but fouled on the left field line. We'll do it again. Want to continue our chat with Karen Feldman, cuisine columnist from the Florida Weekly. There are some must-experience restaurants here in town. What are some of those? If you're coming down from the Twin Cities to take in a ball game and then get some grub.
Well, Cabbage Key is very popular. You have to take a boat to get out there, which is part of the fun. You get one out at Pineland, out on Pine Island. Then you get a little boat ride. You get to see our islands, our beautiful waters. Maybe even some of our friendly dolphins will chase your boat. You get out there and you can order shrimp, of course, and possibly a cheeseburger, which is the cheeseburger that is supposed to be the inspiration for Jimmy Buffett's Cheeseburger in Paradise. So it's fun, and it's a nice afternoon. Great excursion to see a part of Southwest Florida you wouldn't ordinarily see unless you get out on a boat.
Joseph flies out to right, so 2 down. First and second, and Ryan Flaherty is the batter as Barrios steps off and will reset. Flaherty RBI single his first time up in the second. Barrios from the stretch, a glance towards second, and comes home, misses high, and away, ball 1.
Karen, as the cuisine columnist, does that mean you get to go out and taste all these foods before you get to write about it?
It's hard to write about them if you don't taste them, yes. And they pay me. Can you believe that? Yeah, it's a tough job. So, yes, I go out and I taste test the restaurants. I don't tell them I'm coming. My husband usually goes with me. We go in, we eat like everyone else, and then we write about it. Been doing that for about 19 years here, first at the News Press and now at Florida Weekly. So, yeah, there's a lot of great restaurants here, a lot of people with great passion who put out really good food. So when you come down here, you're likely to find a lot of very creative, inventive places to eat.
Barrios misses low, so 3 balls and no strikes on Flaherty. With Dariel Alvarez on deck, if this happening continues, how important is spring training to the restaurant community down here? How vital is it that people flock down here for this short period of time?
I think it's a big deal. You can, for those of us who live here, we can tell that we can't get in. So to most of our favorite restaurants, I think it has a big impact. The people come down, they go to a game, and then they want to eat lunch or dinner or both, and they come for maybe a week, and they're eating out. So I think it has tremendous impact. People really look forward to, the restaurants really look forward to having people here to eat.
A walk to Ryan Flaherty, so that will load the bases for Alvarez, who's in right field today. Dariel Alvarez, 27 years old. I'm told he has a huge arm, a big arm out there in the corner outfield spot. Hit 16 home runs at AAA Norfolk last year. That's right-handed, and the pitch from Barrios is high, ball 1. Suzuki went out before this at bat as Barrios has walked 2 and allowed a double this half inning.
Yeah, we talked about when Santana Irvin was missing a little bit high in the zone, got dinged up a little bit. That one right there, you're going to get in trouble if you pitch up in the zone.
And the 1-0 is sent foul out of play to the right side. Fastball at 94 from Jose Barrios.
Well, you talk about writing on all these restaurants, food here. Have you ever taken time and done some ballparks?
Yes, actually, I have. I've done both of the ballparks in town and eaten my way through them, and they've come a long way. That's I will say.
Okay.
They've come a long way. It used to be not so good hot dogs and not just average beer, and now you have, full service liquor and good beers and brats. I saw some brats today and Philly cheesesteaks and a little more variety. It's good. You can really eat here now, which is nice.
The 1-2 swing and a miss. He got him on a fastball at 94. So Barrios throws 25 pitches but doesn't give up a run. Orioles get a hit, a couple of walks. They leave 3 in at 2.5. It remains a 2-2 game. Karen, thank you very much for stopping by.
My pleasure.
We'll be back to Hammond Stadium in a moment. 2-2 game. Baltimore makes a pitching change as Tyler Wilson is done 2 innings. He gives way to Parker Bridwell. 6'4", 190 pounds, 24 years old. 9th round pick by the Orioles back in 2010. Brian Dozier leads off, and the Twins leadoff hitter who began the Twins game today, at least offensively, with a home run to left behind a strike. And it's 0-1. Bridwell pitched at Double-A Bowie last year, and the 0-1 is tapped off into the bat and fouled down the right side. 18 starts, 4-5. Big strikeout numbers at Double-A last year. Averaged 9 strikeouts per 9. Did walk 4. 6'4", 190 pounds. Parker Bridwell comes home, and the 0-2 to Dozier. Ground ball to the right side. Charging Flaherty. The second baseman gloves near his ankle and throws out. Twin second baseman. So there is out number 1. Thank Karen Feldman for stopping by. Cuisine columnist from the Florida Weekly. Seafood is the go-to thing, though, down here, right?
You can't go wrong with it. That's what they have down here, and it's so fresh, like she said.
Base is empty, 1 out. And now Mauer. Bounced out his first time. And Joe behind a strike at 92, about knee high. It's 0-1. Twins and the Orioles will begin the 2016 season. Twins open up April 4th at Camden Yards. Great venue. 1 ball, 1 strike on Joe. And the pitch is lined foul out of play. Now the year ago, the Twins and Orioles met 7 times. The Twins swept the season series, winning 7 games. And I think about the 4-game sweep late in the year in Baltimore, and that really buried the Orioles and their playoff push. And now the 1-2 as Bridwell came inside. Mauer pulls one foul off the Orioles dugout.
What I remember about that series, they were not playing good baseball at the time, and they just kind of got stuck and really couldn't rebound from that. And I remember looking at their schedule, and they were playing teams that they thought that they should be winning.
Ball and 2 strikes on Mauer. And the pitch, Mauer taps one foul. I want to say the Twins and Orioles, that homestand that Baltimore had, the Twins were the last team in town for maybe a 10 or an 11-game homestand. And Baltimore was playing well, like you said. I think they beat the A's soundly, and then the Mets came to town. Henry Urrutia hit a walk-off home run in one of those games back in August, so they were playing well. And the 1-2 is down low, but then the Twins came in, and not an easy thing to do, let alone take a series, but sweep 4 at Camden Yards with a lot at stake. The Twins did just that last year. Shortstop Giannis shading Mauer up the middle. Third baseman Tollison playing in the hole at short. And the 2-2 off speed. Missed outside, not by much. Full up 3-2. Sano looming next. Matt Wieters is back. Also Chris Davis signing a massive deal as a free agent. He's back with the Orioles. And the 3-2 line to right down the line, but hooking foul. Swing there for Mauer on that fastball at 91 out in front, and just fouled by a few feet. Darren O'Day is back, a key cog in a very good Baltimore bullpen that had the 3rd best ERA in the American League last year. From the windup, and the 3-2 Mauer slicing drive to left, playable for Kim. Back a few steps, sunglasses resting on the bill of his cap, and he makes the play for out number 2. Manny Machado is back. Adam Jones is back. J.J. Hardy is back. So plenty of experience and a ton of home run potential. 3rd in the league in home runs last year, which is nothing new. This is a Baltimore team, Danny, that has done that for many years now, hit a ton of home runs.
And it is a ballpark that's very home run friendly, especially in the summertime.
Sano swings and a major league pop-up on the infield playable. Who sees it? Near the mound now off the third base line. Tollison, not easy to do. But he comes in about halfway towards home plate and makes the play off the grass. Inning over. Parker Bridwell with a 1-2-3 third through 3. Game tied at 2 on your home for Twins Baseball. This portion of Twins Baseball is brought to you by your local Chevy dealers. See your local Chevy dealer or log on to ChevyDealerOnline.com. Gorgeous day in Florida. Game tied 2-2. Barrios back to work in the fourth, and here for the call. Here he is, everybody. Wrench. Danny Glad.
You're going with the wrench now, huh?
Yeah, we're going to mix it up a little bit.
I like it. All right. Well, 2-2 tie as Barrios back out there. Delivers outside ball one. Giannis, RBI single his first time up. And right back. Got the plate below, and now 2 balls and no strikes. We were talking earlier about Sano had a ball in the outfield the other night. I got to say he misplayed it. It was a line drive hit right at him. Did get over his head. This was popped up foul. Here the Baltimore dugout. Suzuki, Mauer giving chase, but it'll reach the seats. And with that, we'll pause 10 seconds. We're going to allow our stations to identify themselves. You're listening to Twins Baseball.
Really like how you're talking, and I am not passive in this area. I think all that innings and percentages is total horseshit, never proven, will never be proven. It's got a little bit, but it has no basis behind it. It really has nothing behind it. There's a chance. You have to have.
As Barrios delivers inside, moved him off the plate.
Anyway, forget about that.
Yorman Landa was up earlier. He continues to loosen in the Twins bullpen right now. And pitch count at 29 for Barrios. And he's falling behind some hitters behind 3-1 here. Missed down and away, and that's going to be the second walk issued by Barrios. So a leadoff base runner for Baltimore. We go to the top of the order. And here's Avery to bat. He is officially 0 for 1 with a walk. 2-2 tie. Talking about Sano. Talking to Torrey Hunter today, he is going to leave. So his work right now is done with the outfielders and what he has been working with Sano. So hopefully he's got that foundation. Runner at first, Barrios. He shows bunt and bunts it foul over the netting. Talking with Paul Molitor, he's going to play Sano a lot in the outfield. He wants to try to get him as much action as he can out there in the outfield. We saw the other night, first game, didn't get a fly ball the whole ball game. So that's kind of tough to where if you're the manager, yes, we're playing him deep. Quick throw over to first. He easily gets back. That you want to try to get him to have to go to right center field, maybe backhand one, maybe get one down in the corner, get an opportunity to maybe try to get a throw to third, and guy advancing from first to third. Pitch to the backstop. And that's going to allow the runner, Giannis, to advance to second. It'll be a wild pitch.
You brought up a great point for our first game. And if you did not hear what you said about fielding the ball in right field and the difference between that and, as an infielder, what you do with your hands, I think is worth repeating.
Well, you know, don't forget, as an infielder, and he's been raised as a third baseman, you're always taught field the ball with two hands. You got your glove, your right hand, you kind of scoop it in there as a tap or foul. So now as an outfielder, there's going to be times now he's got to learn to be able to catch that ball with one hand as an outfielder, and the footwork's a little bit different. A lot of people would like you to field that ground ball off your left foot. Some guys like you to field it on the outside of that left foot, and it's a timing play that they work on. Some teams pick off attempt at second. That's going to be no chance, as Escobar a little bit late getting there. So there's certain footwork as an outfielder from an infielder, so it's just a matter of what's comfortable. Some guys like it when you field that ball to either do that crow hop with your right foot coming behind your left foot, or you try to bring that on the inside of your left foot as that little crow hop to get into position to throw. Little flare into shallow center field. Buxton coming on, runs well, gets there. So Buxton with a nice running catch got in on the hands of Avery. So there's one out, runner still at second. The batter's going to be Tollefson, and that's going to be it for Barrios as Molitor pops up out of the dugout. 34 pitches. And it does look like we're going to have a change here. And it's going to be Yorman Landa coming on. So that's it for Barrios. He's going to leave with a runner at second. One out, 2-2 tie. We'll be back. You're listening to Twins Baseball. Yorman Landa will come on for the Twins. Just an inning of third for Jose Barrios. Had one strikeout, but also a little alarming 3 walks. Landa was added to the Twins 40-man roster. He was signed as an undrafted free agent back in 2010 from Venezuela. Just 21 years of age. They like his arm. A couple of levels last year. GCL Twins 1-0. 7 ball games there. Mostly everything out of the bullpen. Went to Cedar Rapids, went 2-1. Good ERA 1.67. 27 innings. He had 31 punch-outs. So big arm, but also number jumps out, 4 wild pitches. So
yeah, that's the one thing that they're going to watch here in camp. They'll watch many, but command just needs to throw more strikes with Landa. Fastball 95, 98, curve, and a change. And you know he has a chance to begin his season where he's pitching right now. Could begin here in Fort Myers with a miracle.
When you have a big arm like that, sometimes and you get the wild pitches, a combination of a good live arm, a little bit wild, but also might be able to get away with it at the lower levels. And the first pitch on the way, and it's right down Broadway to Tollefson. Strike one, 2-2 tie here in the top of the 4th. RBIs by Flaherty and Giannis. Twins led 1-0 after one. Leadoff homer by Dozier. RBI single by Suzuki, right back. This one's flared into right field, shallow right. Dozier out, still out, going to make that over the head catch. No chance for Sano to get there. Boy, that's a big collision there. But good job by Dozier staying with it, fighting the sun. 2 down.
That's a nightmare scenario there. You have those two important pieces going out, and it's bound to happen. There's going to be a ball or two out there at some point, Danny, and a new right fielder, an all-star second baseman. Communication is vital.
Well, that's why as you're an infielder, you're always looking back, and every hitter you might play somebody a little bit differently. So as an outfielder, you're going to reposition yourself, and as a good infielder, you're going to look back and find out where that new position, where is he playing now? There's a pitch on the way to Kim, and he fouls it off left side. You know, sometimes with a left-handed power hitter, in Kim's case, you might look back there and Sano playing a little bit deeper. So therefore, as an infielder, I know I've got more ground to cover going out into shallow right field. Whereas you get those little soft, little flare hitters, he's playing shallow. Pitch inside for a strike. Kim didn't like that. Here's a guy put up some pretty good numbers in Korea. 28 home runs, 121 driven in. You look at these numbers, and then, of course, Twins have Park 53 home runs, 146 driven in. Pitch way high. You were reading up on this kid here, and you said that you found he was known as kind of the
Iron Man in Korea.
Iron Man.
10-year period of games he played in 98% of them.
See what he can do here. You got the ball hard one time up. Fouls this one off down the left field line. He's more to me than Park, the traditional kind of Asian Japanese style with that leg kick a little bit. We see it with Ichiro Suzuki, that little kind of off the front foot, kind of a girl's softball swing where you're kind of leaving the batter's box as you swing. Checks a runner and delivers. Curve, little tapper. Fielded by Londa. Nice play. He'll step throw and retires Kim. They leave one. We've completed 3.5, 2-2 tie here at CenturyLink Sports Complex. You're listening to Twins Baseball. Well, leading off for the Minnesota Twins, Byung-Ho Park. I'm sorry, it'll be Trevor Plouffe, Rosario, and then Park. And a first pitch. Bridwell is in there for a strike. Big, tall right-hander Parker Bridwell. Last year in Double-A, went 4 and 5. A big swing and a miss by Trev. He's in a hole, no balls, and 2 strikes. Double-A level at 18 starts, 97 innings pitched. Just walked 38, 93 punch-outs. He is on their 40-man roster. Fastball up and away. I think you're going to see mostly the younger players come in with their velocity already high. Bridwell hitting 94, going to set up inside on Trevor. And a pitch pulled near the Twins dugout. That net in front of it. A couple of guys ducked out of the way. Karen back up into the seats. Trevor, big year last year, hoping to capitalize on that. 22 home runs, 86 driven in. Hitting in the 4 slot today, missed outside, and now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Baltimore signed 4 free agents in the offseason. One of them, I guess, Chris Davis, considered a free agent. He came back and signed, and be their first baseman. Big power over there. Pitch inside off speed. A running count full, 3-2. Yardo. And looked like he had a 3-year deal. He went for his physical, and they backed out and gave him a 2-year deal. And the other guy, Dexter Fowler, who was rumored to be showing up there. And there's a fly ball shallow right. Alvarez coming in. Glasses on and reaches up, puts it away. There's 1 out. And then, of course, Young-Soo Kim playing left field now, and then also Darren O'Day. So there's their free agent signings.
The Fowler thing was fascinating for a couple of days, because you had one side saying that they had a verbal understanding about, signing a multi-year deal with the Orioles. Then Fowler's agent released a statement.
Strike call to Rosario.
Kind of slamming the media for mentioning that, even the Orioles for maybe even leading to that. But Fowler's agent made it seem like that was never a foregone conclusion, that it was a slam dunk, that's where he was going to play.
And didn't he end up going back and with the 1-year deal with the Cubs?
Yeah.
And he was a guy, Fowler, that was offered the arbitration of $15.8 million, turning it down, thinking he might be able to get some more out on the free agent market, and that was not the case. Pitch inside on a no ball 2-strike count. 2-2 tie. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Ridwell, second pitcher for Baltimore. Tyler Wilson started. And a righty right over the top. This one's pulled down the right field line.
Well, the CBA is up after this season. That is going to be, I think, a debatable point from the union about changing that system and what it means to teams losing a draft pick. The first 10 picks are protected, but after that, you lose that draft pick if you sign a player who was offered, but then turned down a qualifying offer.
Laid off a pitch away, and now 2 balls and 2 strikes. And I'm not sure, is the argument going to come from the owners in that they want to keep the system the same, or are the players going to step up and say, no, we want to get rid of that? Because it seems like sometimes these guys, as this ball's well stroked right field, and that ball might have a chance. Track wall gone. So Rosario connects his first home run. Twins lead 3-2. Saw a lot of that in Rosario last year. 13 home runs on the year. Twins have hit 2 homers, both solo shots. Dozier, now Rosario. You look at Rosario, what he did last year, just 122 ball games. Like an off-speed pitch up in the zone and pretty good power. Here's Byung-Ho Park. Reached on an error last time up. Off speed in there for a strike.
Just to finish up that thought, I would think that the union would have an issue with it, and they do have an issue with it, because what they're saying is there are teams that won't sign me because they don't want to lose
a draft
the
pick.
18th overall pick.
This was skied out in front of home plate. Joseph, the catcher. And now in foul territory. Here comes the third baseman, Tollison, running in, calling off the catcher and catching it right about at home plate.
Point being is, if it's truly supposed to be a free agent system, yet there are teams that won't utilize that because they are so protectful of that first-round draft pick, it hurts the player. It limits the player's options to sign, at least in their minds.
You know, Corey, and I think when this first took effect, I think we saw it with Kendrys Morales. Remember, he turned an offer down, couldn't get a signing with anybody, and he played he sat out half a season. As Escobar bats, and it's in there for a strike. And I believe it's after the draft then no compensation,
Right.
and he signed right away with the Twins. The other one, I think, was Stephen Drew, who also sat out half a season. Pitch to Escobar. Now inside, 1-1 strike.
Now, this is not something that was just kind of worked into the agreement. This was something that the players' union saw, and they agreed to it in the CBA. So you can't put all the blame on owners here. This was an issue that was bargained and eventually agreed upon by both sides.
And you think that it's going to be how it's going to play out, and then all of a sudden, sometimes you find out, you know what? We don't want to lose a draft pick. Count at 2 balls and a strike. Missed outside, and now 3-1 hitters count here for Escobar. Grounded out. Shortstop his first time up.
I think a guy like Ian Desmond fell in the same boat. Shortstop Washington, good player. He signed with the Rangers to be an outfielder, a 1-year deal.
And a 3-1 pitch. Ground ball right side. Dive stop by the first baseman. He's going to get up. Underhand flip to Bridwell. Nice play there by Walker at first base. Having a good game. Twins, though, take a lead on an Eddie Rosario solo shot. 4 complete here at CenturyLink Sports Complex. Twins 3, Baltimore 2 on your home for Twins baseball. New pitcher for the Minnesota Twins. It'll be right-hander Kevin Jepsen. Jepsen last year, boy, lifesaver for the Twins. Ended up with 10 saves, 15 on the year. He had 5 with Tampa Bay. Twins got him in that trade. When Perkins was hurt, Jepsen stepped up. And he'll come on here. Be facing Walker, who made that nice diving stop at first base. And Jepsen's first pitch is taken on the inside corner for a strike. Rita and then Joseph. Hitters 4, 5, and 6. Twins leading 3-2. 3 hits for Minnesota. 3 hits for Baltimore. Each team charged with an error so far. Jepsen out of the stretch. Missed high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jepsen played with the Angels. Really 10 saves last year, most in a season for him. 1.61 ERA. And 1-1 pitch. Swung on and fouled back. Yeah, gorgeous afternoon here today. Twins 1-1-1. They 1 win, 1 loss. Tie in a ball game yesterday. Baltimore 0-3. But this ballpark, everybody loves it here. Spent some time. Corey had a gathering today that had to speak with some of the fans. Pitch down and away, that missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And It wasn't a group from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Come down, and some of the perks that you get is you get broadcaster to come out and talk about Minnesota Twins baseball.
Yeah, they got a chance to get some autographs. Brian Dozier came out, Trevor May, Tony Oliva, Terry Ryan took questions for about a half hour.
Here's Jepson's 2-2 pitch. This one's lifted foul right side. Was there a theme with the questions of what the fans are? You got a feel for that? What they're concerned about, or what do they like?
They were really good questions. It wasn't just, you know, what do you do in your spare time? A lot of smart questions about the roster, about, you know, Trevor May. Do you like starting or relieving? If you don't get a starting spot, are you going to be disappointed? It was, I thought, really good questions by the group we had this morning.
This one skied to left field. Rosario holding his ground, now drifting back on the track and in front of the wall. Reaches up, puts it away. The ball carried on him a little bit, but just got under it. 1 out.
It's neat where they hold this. It's just underneath the concourses down the left field line in a covered area. But if you turn around, there's Tom Kelly Field, and guys were out there. TK, in fact, was out there working on some drills, and a few pitchers were throwing bullpens, and that was only 30 feet away. And behind them on field 5, a big league field, he had a bunch of pitchers out there and BP being taken.
Urrutia going to bat. Urrutia walked twice. Both times he has scored 1 of the 2 runs.
It's what I think the renovations, they were smart in what they did and where they did it, Danny, because it still keeps everything pretty close.
Yeah. And this pitch missed high. 2 balls and 1 strike. Having talked to the fans, the thing that jumps out is the room that they have to walk around this ballpark, and the fact that you can kind of walk the whole ballpark. But also they talked about the Twins Pro Shop and how large that is. They felt last time there was lines out the doors. This one's peeled straight back. So 2 balls and 1 strike. And still good cold beverages here. I saw our good buddy Dr. Crutchfield with his jersey on down there behind home plate. And he was handing some beers out.
Huh. He's got the day off today, right?
I hope so. This one's lifted down the left field line. Look out. And boy, some of the fans down there not really paying too much attention. And last minute somebody said, look out. But Crutchfield always big time Twins fan. Count of 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's a line drive right back up the middle. Buxton to his left. He'll cut it off. Urrutia has reached base all 3 times. 1 out single. Caleb Joseph will bat. And don't forget, Target Field's a great place to spend time with people who are important to you. Groups are eligible for discounts on tickets and per ticket fees. They've been eliminated. So organize your group of 25 or more today. All you have to do is go to twinsbaseball.com/groups, or you can call 833-TWINS. Joseph, a lot of playing time last year as he fouls this one straight back. 100 games, hit 11 home runs, drove in 49. Thought that if Wieters would have become a free agent, he was going to get the bulk of the playing time, but Wieters took that offer from the Baltimore Orioles, and he's been dinged up a few years now with some injuries. Fastball just missed on the outside corner, didn't miss by much. The Wieters last year in 75 ball games hit 8 home runs, 25, 67 strikeouts. And when Wieters first came up, they were comparing him to a Joe Mauer style. Big, tall catcher. There's a ground ball, should be 2. Dozier. He'll backhand flip to Escobar, back to first in time for the double play. So Jepson, solid inning, just gives up 1 hit, but nobody left after 4.5. It's the Twins 3, Baltimore 2. You're listening to Twins Baseball. pitcher for Baltimore, right-hander Jason Garcia. Alignment from Double-A to the big leagues last year. He was in 21 ball games with Baltimore, 1-0, 29 2/3 innings pitched, and 17 walks, 22 punch-outs. Well, the right-hander on here, and he'll be facing Suzuki, Buxton, and Dozier. Twins up 3-2. Suzuki RBI single back in the second inning. Not much of a breeze here this afternoon. And Joseph sets up outside and the pitch inside. Suzuki last year struggled a little bit early, but he stepped it on. Ended up with 5 home runs, but he drove in 50 runs last year. And a 1-0 pitch way outside. Looks like J.R. Graham loosening in the Twins bullpen right now. Irvin Santana started 2 innings. Give up 2 hits, 2 runs, just 1 earned. He walked 2. And a pitch, another one inside, and 3 balls and no strikes. Barrios just an inning and 2/3, or an inning and a third, gave up a hit. He walked 3 with 1 strikeout. And a 3-0 pitch way outside. 4-pitch leadoff walk. And here's Byron Buxton. Buxton grounded out to third base. Third baseman Tollison made a nice play on him. Got the force out at second base.
Would this be time for Buxton to show bunt? More for a base hit. See Tollison creeping in just a few steps at third base.
I think if there was a little more speed at first base in Suzuki, yes, good time for bunt base hit. And takes it in there for a strike. Best case scenario, if he gets the base hit, they've got first and second for Dozier. But if he is thrown out, now all of a sudden you got a runner at scoring position. I think they would like to see him hit right now. And see if he can shoot that gap the other way. Righty sets, delivers inside. So evens it up 1 ball, 1 strike. Gene Glenn at third base, kind of getting the signs from Molly. And then we'll relay him. And that's something they're going to work on in spring training also, is finding out which guys I can hit and run with. They're going to set up away on Buxton. And they throw over to first and they throw it away. That's going to allow Suzuki to advance to second base. Flaherty, he's going to try for 3. Coming up throwing, it's going to be 1 hop, not in time. So Suzuki, aggressive base running all the way at third base. He charged error to the pitcher. So see how Baltimore's going to play it. If they're going to concede, give that run up. They're going to look in the dugout for Buck right now, and he's going to play shortstop in, second baseman back just a little bit. So most likely going to have to see that ball through the infield. Count of 1 ball, 1 strike to Buxton. Ground ball, crisply hit to the third baseman. Off his chest, comes up throwing, no chance. Most likely be charged with an error. A routine 2-hopper. He got caught in between it, tried to catch it. Buxton getting out of that batter's box. He turns into a world-class sprinter after that.
No chance. Any juggle, any slight hesitation, even a ball that was hit crisply like that one. His speed's going to win out more times than not.
You know, you're a third baseman like that. You got caught in between hops. He just kind of like a catcher blocking a ball in the dirt. You get in trouble. You don't like to have those guys back up with a guy with speed. Let's see what Dozier. It is going to be an error. It was hit 2-hop right to him. So now Dozier homered his first time up, grounded out. Second baseman back in the third, takes it outside and low. At some point, you want to see Buxton try to run. Dozier, tough guy to double up. Twins trying to add on here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Garcia in trouble. Nobody out. And this one's lifted foul right side. Evens it up 1 ball, 1 strike. Didn't look like Buxton was running on that pitch there. Mauer in the on deck circle. Buxton, good lead at first. Garcia sets, delivers. This one's popped up. Could be deep enough. Right fielder getting behind it now. Here comes center field. It's going to be the right fielder coming up throwing him. We talked about that big arm out there in right field by Alvarez, and he just showed it off right there. Well, strike, 1 hopper right to home plate.
Among the Orioles young players here today, so Alvarez starting in right field. We just saw the arm. Also scheduled to play later on is a young man named Trey Mancini, the best prospect from a positional standpoint the Orioles have, and he's a first baseman. So Mancini's here today. We'll see him at some point, but Alvarez, we just saw that big arm as Suzuki had no chance had he tried to tag.
Corey, I think with 1 out, maybe you might take a chance in something like that. Close ball game, you do have the lead, but with nobody out, and just watching Dozier's reaction, and once that ball left his bat, he kind of knew he hit it to the wrong guy. And here's Mauer, and he takes it in there for a strike. So Buxton, if he tries to run here,
a good matchup too. Caleb Joseph, good arm, good defensive catcher.
Righty sets, long pause, not running, and the pitch, ground ball right side, could be 2. Dive stop by the second baseman. Only play is to get Mauer at first. So Mauer picks up the RBI. Twins now lead 4-2. Here's Sano. Boy, he hit a big-time pop-up last time up. Good play by Flaherty at second base. We've seen him make that many a times. So Buxton at second, 2 down. 1 in. Base open as Garcia checks Buxton and steps off. Righty sets, delivers, swung on a miss, slider. Good location, down and away. Sano can reach Trevor Plouffe in the on-deck circle. Good lead by Buxton at second. Pitch down and away. Sano batting third in the lineup. They've moved Mauer to that number 2 slot. And this is a lineup just to an end. It could be the opening day lineup for the Minnesota Twins. Pitch inside, moved him off the plate at 93. Dozier leading out, Mauer batting second today.
Yeah, Paul Molitor will meet with the media after the game, and I would imagine that'll be a question he will be asked early in that session.
Swung on a miss. Another breaking ball, and that's going to even it up 2-2. I think it's a fair question. But Paul's got options. I like how he went Sano, Plouffe, left-hander Rosario, Park, power hitter, right-handed, and then Escobar, switch hitter, and then back to Suzuki. And then good speed in Buxton, the bottom part of the lineup. And Buxton with a huge lead at second, and a pitch. Swung on a miss. All breaking balls as Joseph drops it. No tag. Now has to throw to first. Twins will pick up a run. Ground out RBI by Joe Mauer after 5. It is the Minnesota Twins 4 and the Baltimore Orioles 2. You're listening to Twins Baseball. A couple changes here for the Minnesota Twins. Not whole house changes, but close. Ronaldo Rodriguez now the new left fielder in for Rosario. Eduardo Nunez at second base. James Beresford is the new first baseman. Angel Vahima is the new shortstop. Juan Centeno is the new catcher, and the new pitcher for the Minnesota Twins going to be right-hander J.R. Graham. Graham will come on, face the bottom third of the order. Here's Flaherty to bat. And the first pitch is a line drive, base hit center field. Joined down the dugout by Kurt Suzuki. Caught the guys here today in Santana, Barrios, Landa, and even Jepson. What do you take away from their performance here today?
Well, I thought it was good. You know, the ball's coming out of the hand really well. You know, obviously everybody's excited. You know, they're pumped up. You know, probably not as calm as they would be in a regular season game, but for the most part, you know, they came out feeling great, and that's the important part.
Important that they feature everything that they have out there, their whole arsenal?
Not so much. I think it's more just executing pitches. I think fastball command. I'm a big fastball guy. I like to establish the fastball, especially early in spring training. I mean, regular season games, I like to establish the fastball at both sides of the plate early, and then, you know, figure it out from there. But I always believe the off-speed comes off working the fastball, locating that. So, you know, we try to mix the fastballs in both sides of the plate, and, you know, we got into some jams there early, so, you know, we featured more of their off-speed stuff than we would have liked, but, you know, it's good for them to get out there like that.
Runner at first, and Flaherty leadoff single. Alvarez bats, and he skies this one into shallow right field. Long run Sano. Sano's still coming on, calling for it, and puts that one away. So we get to see Miguel Sano, and that's also something that we want to see here in spring training, is Sano get as many balls as he can out in the outfield.
Yeah, he looked good out there right there, didn't he? He's athletic, man. I mean, people think he's just this big guy that hits homers. This guy can move. He can move.
Be a heck of a football player, too.
Yeah, no thanks.
That's the guy that you don't want to see come around third base toward home plate, I take it, huh, Kurt?
Oh, no way. Those are the ones you step in front of the plate and sweep tag.
Let's see if the Twins get a ground ball double play. Pitch is tap foul.
Does Barrios remind you of anybody you've caught before with a different organization?
You know, I'd say, you know, I've caught some good ones. I think I compared to more this young guy we got when I was in Oakland, this guy, Jared Parker. You know, really good changeup, you know, good curveball, good slider, and then he can mix that sinker into both sides of the plate and real live fastball. I compare him to that, and, you know, obviously Parker had some injuries, but he was one of my favorite guys to catch. He's one of my good friends, and, you know, I think Barrios is well on his way.
You know what I like about Barrios is that, you know, it looks it so easy. It's fluid with his delivery, and the ball really kind of explodes out of his hand. And that's sometimes, you know, some guys a little bit herky-jerky, and they've got to really max effort to get it toward home plate.
Yeah, I think that's part of his uniqueness, his deception, so to say, where he can really look effortless out there and make things look easy. And I think that's definitely what you like to see, especially out of a young guy. You know, he's not up there just trying to throw as hard as he can, light up the radar gun. He's really focused on executing pitches, and that's what's the most impressive about him.
Fouled straight back, 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Corey and I have been talking up here about the power arms that the Twins now have, in particular guys coming out of the bullpen, Chagua, Dean. Are you impressed with what you're seeing catching some of the bullpens?
Oh, yeah. We got some really talented guys. You know, you guys saw it the first night here. Here's a double play ball.
Let's hear you call it.
6-4
low throw picked out by Beresford. Nice job.
Yeah, this that Reed kid that came in the other night, you know, college arm, established kind of guy, and it's exciting. You know, we face a lot of guys, you know, the bullpen these days. Everybody's throwing hard, and to see that coming up through this organization, you know, it's fun to see.
Kurt, would you mind sticking around just for a little bit longer, maybe next inning?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Yep.
Twins leading 4-2. We'll be back. You're listening to Twins Baseball. For the Baltimore Orioles, as we start the bottom of the 6th inning, new pitcher, left-hander, it's going to be Chris Lee. Still down there with Kurt Suzuki in the dugout. Mushy mush.
Shalom, shalom.
Let me ask you, how's it going with some of the new teammates in here? And the atmosphere, we had talked to Perk a little bit about, you know, with Paul Molitor, the atmosphere is always key. Does it seem a little bit better now this year?
Yeah, it's good. You know, it's a good carryover from last year. And obviously, we got a lot of the same guys here in this clubhouse. Obviously, an important part in Torrey, but at the same time, we got a bunch of fun guys on the team. Play hard, work hard, you know, have fun. So it's a good mix.
Plouffe batting now, 1 ball, 1 strike.
How much has John Ryan Murphy leaned on your shoulders so far here in camp?
Oh, Murph, he's great. Great kid, works really hard, very talented. Obviously, as you watched him, you know, some last year, and you know, obviously early on in camp, this guy's got a lot of talent, and it's been fun. You know, we have good conversations. We talk about a lot of situations, a lot of things, and you know, I'm excited to work with him. You know, nice Plouffe, attaboy. So yeah, it's been fun.
Well, Trevor, nice solid base hit. Left center field cut off for a single.
The amount of games you caught last year, did that exceed your expectations, or did you think the number was about right?
Well, you know, obviously, as a season goes on, you know, situations come up. Obviously, we were in the playoff hunt, you know, going for that spot in the playoffs, and you come to the field, mentally you want to play, and that's how it should be. And I felt every year, you try to not put a number on how many games you want to start. Obviously, you keep an eye on it just to keep yourself fresh, but you just got to go by how you feel. I think at this point, in my career, it's just kind of how I feel. If I feel good, I always want to play, but at the same time, there's times where you need to take a blow and take a break and keep yourself fresh for the rest of the season. But I felt good last year. Obviously everybody talks about the amount of games you play and all this stuff. I think it does wear on you, but when you're in that playoff hunt, you come to the field, that adrenaline takes over, and you can feel like you can run on water.
Yeah, but also playoff drive for the Minnesota Twins. You guys were in it so much, and that also can kind of keep you a little bit younger. Absolutely. Some of those playoff races.
Yeah, like you've been through it, and you kind of been through that situations where, you get excited, and it's exciting to come to the ballpark when you're in that playoff hunt in September. When you're in last place and you're playing the spoiler, that's no fun. You want to be in that playoff hunt, and I think when you get into that situation, like you said, you come to the park and you feel good, you feel ready to go, energized. You want to go out there and win the ball game.
Well, let's see what you guys can do. You won 83 ball games last year. Ground ball, third base, fielded cleanly. Low throw, and it's going to go out into center field. Plouffe to third base, so another error. Charge to the Baltimore Orioles on a routine double play ball. Kurt, thanks a lot for sticking around and talking to us, giving us some good insight. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, guys.
Kurt Suzuki joining us down there in the dugout, and that's going to go as Rodriguez reaches first to be an E5. And the batter now is going to be Ryan Sweeney. Non-roster in camp, did not play last year, was cut by the Chicago Cubs in spring training last year.
His former teammate of Suzuki's in Oakland.
So he'll get a chance here first and third, and takes it on the outside corner. There's a strike.
I was going to ask Kurt before we left, with all the foul balls and all the foul tips he takes day in, day out, at what point, if ever, does the body truly heal? Because he would get hit daily, sometimes multiple times during the game, off the arm, you name it, and he'd be back out there the next day more times than not.
You ask those catchers, why do you even put that gear on? But those guys, if they're not dinged up a little bit, they don't feel like they've been playing well. Sweeney fouled it off and now missed down and away. Count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sweeney, veteran experience. Talked about him the other day. He's going to have to swing the bat. And he can do that. There's a line drive base hit to right field. And that's going to score Trevor Plouffe. Throw into third base off the mark. So good base running by Rodriguez. Twins now extend their lead now 5-2.
Now, aggressive base running to me has stood out for the Twins today. Even Young-Ho Park taking second base, Suzuki first to third, and Brian Dozier, the setting we were in this morning, Danny, regarding speaking to the Twins group, and sure enough, the game of the night came up about trying to go for 3. He said, look, it's spring training. We're going to be aggressive, and sometimes you got to tip your cap. The guy's going to make a play, and Bryce Brent's made a heck of a throw. But it doesn't mean you should stop trying just because you failed one time.
And also the score shouldn't dictate how you're going to play the game, especially a spring training game, especially just the 4th game into camp. Yes, you want to be aggressive, but that's what's being taught here when they go through their base running practices right now. And that is, balls hit to the right side of the diamond. You get a chance to take the extra base. Please do that. Bahima's going to bat, shortstop. And he takes it outside, ball 1. Still nobody out. Sweeney at first, Rodriguez runner at third. And the lefty delivers, line drive right back up the middle. Boy, blue darter. So that scores Rodriguez. Centennial's going to bat. His first at bat here this afternoon. Home runs last year, played in Colorado Springs. And the lefty delivers down and away, got the plate but low. They played a little sloppy here this afternoon. They've committed 4 errors. The Baltimore Orioles have. And it's led to runs. Missed inside. Had to jump back off the plate. Hitters count here, 2 balls and no strikes. Baltimore has a night game tonight. This is a split doubleheader here. They've got a 7:05 start. And again, Lee, left-hander, missing, falling behind, 3 balls and no strikes. And taken all the way. And that's in their first strike. Twins leading 6-2. 3 balls and 1 strike. And hit the left field it fairly well. Started in and now back, and then now's going to miss it. Kim, the left fielder, he butchered that one. And Sweeney was tagging up from second, and then it has to hustle in. So another play that should have been made by Baltimore. It'll go as a double RBI. Kim, the left fielder, he started in. And then all of a sudden he kind of went to his right. Tried to back up a little bit more, and by then it was way too late.
Is that the ball that you have referred to a few times about being kind of a tougher one, the ball that's hit at you? Or because that one was slicing and landing more in front of you, was that just a misread from the get-go?
From a left fielder, the ball off the left-handed bat is going to slice and sink away from you a little bit. But that's the one. Here's a guy, not a lot of power, so you shouldn't play him that deep. But you have to anticipate that once that ball leaves the bat. You know how that ball is going to react. Just like as a right fielder, the ball off the right-handed hitter's bat's going to slice away. Buxton takes it up and away. Ball 1, second and third, nobody out. 3 in. And I'll be honest with you, Corey, you can't really practice that off a fungo bat with your coach. When you practice that is when they're taking rounds of batting practice. Swung a miss, swung through an off-speed pitch. Evens it up 1 ball, 1 strike. So you think that, yeah, we're going to take fly balls from the coaches. It's kind of a controlled situation. But now when your team has taken batting practice, move some of the pitchers, the guys shagging, and you take balls off the bats of the hitters when they're taking BP.
I like Caleb.
Caleb with a nice block there with that ball in the dirt. Lee struggling here. They've got activity in the bullpen for Baltimore.
And so Samir Despaigne, former San Diego Padre, right-hander warming up in the Baltimore pen.
Baltimore still looking for their first out. And this one's lifted foul right side, so evens it up 2 balls and 2 strikes. Eduardo Nunez in the on-deck circle. He came in for Dozier. Put the ball in play, you get an RBI. And they're setting up inside, and there's a line drive right center field. Buxton can run. And the right fielder going to track that one down. Alvarez, nice play. Quickly gets it back into the infield, so it's a sac fly RBI. And now it's 8-2 Minnesota.
Second baseman, Eduardo Nunez.
And here's Eduardo Nunez. Boy, he's already in season form. I'm talking about him today. This guy can climb right out of bed, and he gets hits. Infield going to play in. 1 out, runner at third. Pitch inside, almost hit him. Lee, the left-hander, delivers ground ball right side. Boy, past a diving Walker at first base. A little tardy on reacting after that. Another run in for the Minnesota Twins. Well, Nunez picks a base hit up. RBI. Buck Showalter out of the dugout. So we have a pitching change. And that's going to be it for the left-hander, Chris Lee. We'll be back. You're listening to Twins Baseball. New pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles, right-hander Odrisame Despaigne. Big right-hander. And don't forget, Twins Baseball is brought to you by the beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel. Find your island. Find warm, white sand beaches. Find the moments that always end too soon but become memories forever. Just visit FortMyersSanibel.com. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Beresford's going to bat. Before he does, we'll pause 10 seconds, allow our stations to identify themselves. You're listening to Twins Baseball.
First baseman, James Beresford.
Runner at first. One out. Beresford's first at bat. Came on, played first base. And a nice play on the Twins, turning a double play. Despaigne delivers, and it's in there for a strike. Despaigne from Cuba. Played with San Diego last year, went 5-9. Did have 18 starts. Off speed, line drive, base hit right field. So Beresford. Nunez trying for 3. The throw off the mark. And he's going to be in there with a head first slide. Nice job by Eduardo Nunez.
Run out, John.
And you're seeing the aggressiveness of the Minnesota Twins running the bases. Especially on a guy in right field, Alvarez. He came up throwing, and he's got a cannon. Well, the Twins flex plan gives you the flexibility to choose your games and your number of seats. Choose in advance or even the day of the ball game. So don't plan, flex plan. Go to twinsbaseball.com/flex. Give them a call, 800-33-TWINS. Learn more. Joe Benson leads off, or bats, here with one out, first and third.
Yeah, they just got some waters. Huh? They just went and got waters from him.
Benson in camp, non-roster invitee. Despaigne delivers. There's a strike, good breaking ball. Twins have played at 5 here in this bottom of the 6th inning. Checks the runner, Beresford at first. Righty delivers. Just missed inside. Went off speed. Twins now 9 runs on 9 hits. 4 errors charged to Baltimore here this afternoon. Despaigne sets, delivers. Line drive, base hit down the left field line. Nunez will score. Beresford into third. Benson hustling into second base with an RBI double. Twins have batted around here Fredo Tovar will bat. Trevor Plouffe started this inning off with a base hit. Infield again in. Pitch down and in. Tovar signed as a free agent. Non-roster invitee, ball in the dirt. Joseph been busy behind the plate. There's a little big league time with the New York Mets. 2014, just in 2 ball games, had 3 at bats. And a pitch missed way outside.
And Tovar viewed as a plus defender. Great glove at short, arm strength, you name it.
Now they got him listed at 24 years old. And a 2-0 is taken on a corner for a strike. Here's the pitch on the way. Tap foul at home plate. Evens it up, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, depending on how things play out in big league camp, Tovar has a chance to be Rochester's opening day shortstop. The Elma likely Chattanooga bound. Nick Gordon probably here in Fort Myers.
Twins have 64 guys at camp, and here's what you bring in: some guys with some big league time. Another tapper at home plate foul. What you're hoping is that, and I don't like to use the term insurance policies with guys down there at AAA, to where if somebody at the big league level would get hurt, we can tap into the AAA club because we've got somebody down there that has got big league experience. You do like to have those guys down there. There's a line drive, base hit. And Benson's going to be waved around also. High throw to the plate, and it's going to be not in time. So 2 more in as Tovar picks up a base hit. Boy, Benson from second base read that perfectly. And here's Rodriguez, his second at bat this inning. He reached on an error. Should have been a ground ball double play. Not sure how many of these runs are going to be earned, but I would think that he should have been in the dugout a long time ago. So Tovar at first base. And missed outside low. (12-2) Minnesota. This is the games that you just really enjoy in spring training. A ton of hitting. And off speed catches the inside corner. That'll even it up 1 ball, 1 strike.
They say normally the first few days of games, the pitchers are the ones who are ahead of the hitters. Sometimes you will find some lopsided scores early on in camp.
Well, 4 errors committed by that. You love that stuff. Fouled into the netting. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Long innings, you get to shake hands. Seeing some good base running by the Twins. Good crowd here this afternoon. Tovar with his lead. Still just 1 out. And this ball skied to right field it fairly well. Back on the track and right at the wall. Is going to reach up and make the catch. Rodriguez gave it a ride out there to right field, and now 2 down. There's Ryan Sweeney to bat. Sweeney, RBI single. Twins take on Tampa Bay tomorrow afternoon. And missed outside, ball 1. Kyle Gibson going for Minnesota. Jake Odorizzi with the Tampa Bay Rays. We will broadcast that ball game tomorrow. Did not holding the runner out at first base. And a strike on the inside corner.
Also, Danny, sadly, tomorrow will mark 10 years to the day of Kirby Puckett's passing.
Talking with Patrick Royce today, he's thinking he's going to write an article about that. Another strike on the inside corner. I was at this ballpark when I got the news 10 years ago, the passing of Puck. Ahead of Sweeney, 1-2. It's a shallow fly ball left field, and again, left fielder, boy, having a tough time out there. Kim can't come up with it. And that's going to go for a base hit. So Sweeney has 2 hits this inning. Inning continues. Vielma's going to bat. Vielma with a single RBI, his first time up. Hyun-Soo Kim out there in left field. I'm not sure if they got him for his glove, but offensively player. 28 home runs last year, 121 driven in. There's a ground ball, second base, going to be fielded by Flaherty and retires. Lima from the third out. The Twins will pick up 8 runs, extend their lead now up to 6. Twins leading 12-2 on your home for Twins baseball. Well, a little bit of a laugher here as the Twins scored 8 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Also 12 hits, 12 runs. Sloppy defense by the Baltimore Orioles. Taylor Rogers will come on, left-hander. Twins like this guy here to start the top of the 7th, and they take your rest of the way. My partner here is Corey Provis.
All right, Danny, so a new pitcher and also a new hitter. This is going to be L.J. Hose hitting for Xavier Avery. As Rogers misses down low, ball 1. Rogers making his second appearance here in the Grapefruit League. And now the 1-0, and that's on the outside corner at 87 for a strike called. It's a 1-1 count. Rogers pitched the home opener here on March 3rd, gave up 3 runs on 3 hits in 1 inning. And the 1-1 is lined to right. Joe Benson in, now circling back, and has to make the adjustment and the catch. Sunglasses on for Benson, nearly came in too far. He's still athletic though, made the adjustment and kind of an over the shoulder catch out in right. And Hose is out number 1. Twins lead by 10, 12-2, 1 out, and now Steve Tollefson. Taylor Rogers in camp and also added to the roster this offseason is on the 40-man as he pumps in a strike, not overpowering. Radar gun down here is not always accurate. Not one of the upper 80s, but maybe 90, 91 as a starter. And the 0-1 pulled foul, just fouled on the third base side. A much improved curveball a year ago. The pitch he's really trying to focus on and get a better feel for, like many during spring training, the changeup. And he may need that if he's going to be a major league starter. And the 0-2 is high, ball 1. But for now, Rogers is in camp to maybe be a second left-handed arm out of the bullpen, joining Glenn Perkins.
You know, Corey, talking with Glenn Perkins earlier, and he talked about the difference here from last year to this year, and that is with Neil Allen, and that he's getting guys to buy in. I think that's a pitch that Neil Allen's trying to get all the pitchers to be able to have, and more importantly, just don't feature it, but to be able to throw it for a strike and throw it, you know, when you're maybe pitch backwards, when they talk about, okay, you're behind in the count, you can go ahead and throw that off-speed stuff for strikes.
2-2 is down and inside, a fastball 3-2 on Tollefson. Hyun-Soo Kim is on deck. Rogers a year ago was great against left-handed batters. This is a righty hitting, and he just walked. Steve Tollefson missing down and inside, ball 4. Lefties against Rogers a year ago, and this was as a starter. 27 starts at AAA last year. Lefties hit just 177. It was that number that led to conversations midseason last year, at least the idea of, hey, Rogers is a guy maybe to keep an eye on to be a lefty left bullpen option. It did not happen, but certainly that conversation led to this chance here in 2016 camp as he misses outside, ball 1. Now, an ongoing question, and I think a fascinating one at that, is not just Rogers, but maybe even Alex Meyer, also for now trying to win a job as a reliever here in camp. And the 1-0 pitch is tapped weakly to the right side. This will be gloved by Nunez. Second for 1. That's all they get. Not a good feed from Nunez. That pulled Vielma off the bag somewhat, so really no chance to get the return throw on Kim. Twins do, though, get the lead runner Tollefson at second base. Fielder's choice for Kim. So 2 down. Just to finish up that thought, Rogers and Meyer, yes, they've started plenty in their professional careers, but if they don't leave big league camp with a job out of the bullpen, do they then go to Rochester as a reliever or a starter? That conversation is still ongoing from a front office perspective. As he goes with a curveball here, strike called on Walker, 0-1.
Well, when they start making cuts, there's a thing that we call the domino effect. When guys start going down from the big club AAA, the guys at AAA start going down to AA, and sometimes, you know, you get down to the bottom and they go out the door. But yes, depending on the depth and how they want to kind of pencil in the future for some of these guys, and yes, if they do get a call up, are they going to be called up as a starter?
Cued up the first base line, just foul. Scooting just inside the bag. 1-2 count, 85 on that offering there from Rogers, who's tall, lanky, 6'3", 170 pounds.
Who's your Mancini kid?
At first base, running for Kim. Oh, this is Mancini batting?
Yeah.
Okay.
You mentioned him. I wanted to look him up. And big kid.
Trey Mancini batting. And the 1-2 off the hands and knocked foul off the screen. 87. Fastball up and inside that time from Rogers.
You know, Corey, we've seen it, though, in the past where guys will go down and pitch as starters down there, but when they get called up, they can learn and they can pitch out of the bullpen.
It's a pinch runner for Kim at first base. First, the 1-2 to Mancini, misses inside. That's Garabez Rosa running at first base for Kim. 12-2 Twins in the 7th. And the 2-2, a swing and a pop-up. Had him out in front of a breaking pitch. The shortstop, Vielma, in on the dirt. He'll squeeze it above his cap. Inning over. Nice job from Rogers. As he works a scoreless 7th inning, Baltimore leaves 1. Time to stretch. In Fort Myers, as it reads, Twins 12, Baltimore 2 on your home for Twins baseball. Well, hope you enjoyed your 7th inning stretch wherever you may be tuning in today, both on the radio and on TV. Good to have our colleagues from Fox Sports North simulcasting this one again this afternoon. Hopefully you did get up and stretch. And the stretch is brought to you by Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine. From aspiring youth athletes to the pros, Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine is changing your game. Call today to make your appointment at Mayo Clinic Square in Minneapolis. New pitcher for the Orioles, a left-hander, Donnie Hart. And plenty of defensive changes as well for the O's. Trey Mancini's at first base. Garabez Rosa is now at second. As Juan Centeno, the Twins catcher, bats, and he's behind a strike called. And his shortstop is Ozzie Martinez. Third baseman is Drew Dosh. Alfredo Marte in left. And the 0-1 to Centeno's inside. Twins lead by 10. It's a 1-1 count. L.J. Ho stays in, and he is now in center. And Mike Yastrzemski, grandson of Carl, is in right. And the 1-1. That one's banged deep to right, down the line, in the corner, has a chance, and that ball's going to be gone for a home run. Juan Centeno pulling a home run out to right, and the Twins add one more, now lead 13-2. Lefty-lefty matchup, and Centeno goes out to right. But has a chance to start his season at AAA as Mastriani bats. Mastriani back in camp, not on the roster. His first at bat today, and he's behind a strike. No balls and one strike on Mastriani. Nunez on deck. And the 0-1. Line to right. That's going to drop. Hit number 14 for the Twins. Mastriani going the opposite way. And the hits continue. An 8-run sixth really blew this thing open. It was a 1-run game. 3-2 until the Twins scored an unearned run of the 5th to make it 4-2, and then that 8-run 6th inning. The decisive inning by far today. Here's Nunez. And he takes high for ball 1. James Beresford is on deck. Irvin Santana started today at a 7-pitch, easy 1-2-3 first inning, but then a lengthy second, a 41-pitch second. And the 1-0 is popped foul. Baltimore did score twice in the second, both runs unearned. And briefly took a 2-1 lead. Following Irvin Santana, Jose Barrios. Inning in the third for Jose. He threw 34 pitches. No runs. A hit, did walk 3. And the 1-1 is down and inside. Ball 2. How many mulligans would you say guys get, at least the first week or so, pitchers especially, before decisions really start to be made here?
Well, I think if you're a veteran guy, you get a couple of mulligans, but you just want to see that, you know, by that third start, when they start going stretched out to about 5 innings, that's when you start getting locked in and see how they're doing. You're starting to see the regular players where you get to face them 3 at bats. Well, now come out here and you pitch one time through the lineup. You don't get to get locked into that pitcher.
Now the 3-1. Nunez swings and misses.
I think if you're a bubble guy, you know that they want to look at. You're not going to get too many mulligans. You might get 1 or 2, but after that, you know, and some of these guys, you'll thin it out a little bit after the first cut. And I think those are the guys that you wanted them to get the experience of what it's like to be in big league camp.
Chopped foul down the third base side. Minor league camp officially opens up next week, March 8th. But Brad Stile, the Twins director of minor league operations, told me the other day that right now 80 some odd guys are already in camp.
I heard that.
Mastriani at first, nobody out in the 7th. And the 3-2 pulled on the ground. Fair diving stop. Third baseman Dosh behind the bag. Picks, throws, and the one-hopper can't be handled by Mancini. And the ball is going to skip into the seats. And Nunez is limping, as he is now hands on his knees up the right field line. Helmet came off, and Nunez noticeably limping. And Paul Molitor and Dave Prumer, Twins' outstanding head athletic trainer, going out to check on Nunez, who is reaching down. Mike Quade is coaching first once again today. He's doing that in the absence of Butch Davis, who is with his family. Sadly, Butch's brother unexpectedly passed away a couple days back. So in his absence, Mike Quade, the AAA manager, is coaching first base in big league camp.
Well, watching the replay there, you can see that Nunez at the last minute. Nice play by Dosh at third base. But he kind of leaped for the bag there. The last stride kind of jumped for it, and it might have jammed something. It's going to come out of the ballgame, though.
Now, Nunez is walking better now than he was before Paul Molitor and Dave Prumer got out there. He's not limping as much, nearly as much as he was a minute ago. He's also walking off. Doesn't have to have his hands draped around a shoulder, but no reason to push it here. Take every precaution you can while you have the numbers, and so Nunez will come out. And there's going to be a pinch runner. I believe it's maybe Aker Meneses, and Meneses will be at second base. So Mastriani at third. That's the fifth error, by the way, on Baltimore. So a base hit and E5, allowing Nunez to take second base, but that now occupied by Meneses. But 5 errors for the Orioles today. Beresford cues one to third. Mastriani has to hold. Dosh fields, and his throw is just in time. Beresford runs well, and he made that play close, but Mastriani cannot score. So Beresford grounds out. There's the first out here in the 7th inning. Twins lead 13-2. Here's Joe Benson. Doubled his first time up. Has a breaking pitch from Donnie Hart. Misses inside for a ball. But that number, about 80 some odd guys, I think it was 86 in minor league camp, your playing days, is that significantly higher now than what it was 20 years ago?
Well, 87 guys in camp early. I think so. I think that's a high number. And don't forget, it's not like years ago that when you would come into camp, you would have probably 2 weeks to get into shape before they start playing games. Not that you didn't come into camp already in shape, but they jump right into ball games right away.
Now the 1-1. Benson taps foul near the Twins dugout, 1-2.
And with the place that they have right now, they're no problem housing these kids. They got that new facility over there on the backfield that houses the kids and feeds them. And so if anything, they're starting to chef up the food a little bit early.
Ball and 2 strikes on Benson. Nick Birdie warming at the Twins pen. And the pitch, broken back, cue shot on the ground, back to the mound, fielded by Hart, spins, throws low, and this time fielded cleanly by Mancini. Mastriani cannot score, so Benson grounds out, 2 down. And it's up to Wilfredo Tovar. Tovar, shortstop by trade, but third base since coming in for Trevor Plouffe with Angel Vielma at short here in the late stages of this Grapefruit League game. 2 on, 2 out. And a backdoor breaking ball hits the outside corner on Tovar for a strike. These two teams will meet many more times here in the Grapefruit League. And the 0-1 is popped up, playable on the infield right side. The second baseman, Rosa, out. Now maybe one step out of the grass, and right will pull it down, inning over. Twins, though, add another run on a Juan Centeno home run. They also lead 2. 8th inning upcoming. So are the Orioles as it now reads Twins 13, Baltimore 2 on your home for Twins.
Minnesota Twins Spring Training Baseball is brought to you by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places.
We are Minnesota. We are Fox Sports North.
Eighth inning on a gorgeous Saturday here in southwestern Florida. Nice breeze blowing in from left field. Patches of blue high above. Sunny skies. Temperatures in the 70s. Twins and the Orioles about to begin the eighth inning. All Twins who lead 13-2. And the new pitcher for the Twins making his Grapefruit League debut, right-hander Nick Birdie. They're one of the young, powerful arms out of the bullpen. And the batter is Francisco Pena. And Birdie at 97 on the in-house radar gun pumps in a strike. Pena bats from the right side and the 0-1. Strike 2. There's a slider. At 86. Fastball upper 90s. Slider, and a pitch he's working on is a splitter. And the 0-2. Fastball away at 99. There's ball 1. We have seen Birdie pitch here before. It was in the Grapefruit League last year, a night game, and we saw him pitch against the Red Sox, and he was greeted rudely by Mike Napoli as the pitch is banged in the air to left center, hanging slider, but it's going to be playable for Ronaldo Rodriguez, and the left fielder grabs it 1 out. So Eddie Guardado recalled that, and when Nick Birdie arrived this year inside the clubhouse, at Eddie Guardado across the clubhouse, wasn't like, "Hey Nick, how you doing? How was your winter?" He just screamed, "Keep the ball down." This is Chance Sisco batting.
We had a chance at
outside
the
for a ball.
Twins Fest that he came on the stage. We interviewed him a little bit, and we talked, and he wasn't shy about it. He realized that the big league hitter's a little bit different up here.
And the 1-0 is line foul. Birdie, there were challenges for him. It wasn't just here. It was last year pitching. He began at Double-A and struggled. ERA near 6 his first 22 games. He was then sent down to Fort Myers in late June, and then his season turned around in a much more positive direction. And the 1-1 swing and a miss. That looked like a splitter right there. It's a 1-2 count now, and Chance Sisco came down to Fort Myers, 29 strikeouts in 20 innings, and then was promoted back to Double-A in mid-August. And the 1-2 is knocked foul, 99 on that fastball. And it was the second half he had, combined with a good fall league. out in Arizona. 8 shutout innings there. 1 walk, 11 strikeouts in 8 games. That the Twins said, hey, come to camp. And the 1-2, he got him. Strike 3. Off speed, a buckling slider. And down goes Cisco, bat in his shoulder, 2 away.
This guy is probably the best power arm in the Twins minor league system right now. And if he can kind of get that secondary pitch to go with that blazing fastball, he's going to be tough.
2 down for Alfredo Marte, who loops one foul. Now, there was a gap of time after Chattanooga's season ended and before Nick reported to Arizona for the Fall League. He did come back to Fort Myers and work with the Twins pitching coordinator Eric Rasmussen on just a few more mechanical things before going out to Arizona. So he put in a lot of work, did Nick, last year, to his credit. And the 0-1 is lifted foul again. And that work ethic, that attitude earned him this chance. He's not on the roster, but still an invitation to big league camp is a big thing the first time you get it.
He would be one of the guys that probably falls in that category that you want him to experience the big league atmosphere. In the clubhouse with the big league players like that, how it works. Meet the big league, Neil Allen, the pitching coach, and listen to him. And then absorb it all, and then wherever you're pitching this year to be able to apply it.
The 1-2 pulled on the ground at third. This is gloved cleanly by Tovar. And his throw is on time to get him. And Nick Birdie with a solid 2016 Grapefruit League debut. Hit 99 a few times and works a 1-2-3 8th inning. Head to the home 8th in Fort Myers. All Twins 13-2 on your home for Twins baseball. Twins have 13 runs on 15 hits. Baltimore 2 runs, 5 hits, 5 errors. Twins lead by 11. Big inning at 8 runs, 6th inning. Baltimore making a pitching change. They bring in a lefty, Tanner Scott. And he will face Rodriguez, Sweeney, and Angel Vielma. On the Twins pitching chart today, Santana, Barrios, Jepson, we've seen them. Birdie, Rogers, Graham, Ramon Londa. Swung on and crushed to left. Back goes Marte, and he'll have a play. And just shy of the warning track, pulls it down for out number 1. Sounded good off the crack of the bat, but hung up long enough to stay in the yard, and that's allowed out. But out number 1 for Rodriguez here in the 8th inning. Twins have a lefty up in the bullpen. Buddy Boshears, haven't seen him yet. Aaron Thompson, haven't seen him yet. I believe that is Bo Shears warming. As Ryan Sweeney, who's had a good day since coming into the game. 2 for 2. Takes outside for ball 1. And the 1-0 is a fastball strike, 97. On the radar gun for Tanner Scott. And the 1-1. Look out, folks. Line foul behind the Twins' third base dugout. As this game has moved along, some seats have emptied, and that was a bullet. As the ushers making their way down to an area about 6-7 rows back towards the end of the Twins' third base dugout. Lefty against lefty. Scott to Sweeney. And the 1-2. Dribbled fair up the first base line. The catcher picks it up. Will throw to first to make the play. Nice work there by Chance Sisco. Taking charge. The pitcher, Scott, also came over about halfway up the first base line, but it was the catcher, Sisco, making the play 2-3. So 2 down. Live Twins baseball is back in 2016 with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected with the Twins all season wherever you are with live radio broadcasts, stats, breaking news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Spring training games, you can hear all the games with MLB.com at bat. And the 0-1 line to left. Base hit Vielma. He's now 1 for 3. Check that, 2 for 3. 2 singles, an RBI, and a run scored. Centennial, the catcher, due up. This is going to be Carlos Paulino. Not on the roster. One of many catchers the Twins have in camp. And with 2 down, here it comes, and Paulino looks at a fastball at 97 outside. Paulino last year, 34 games at Rochester, hit .257, also some time at Chattanooga. And the 1-0 is line foul near the Baltimore dugout. Spent some years in the Pirates organization. Reached AAA a few times, AAA Indy. No big league experience yet for Paulino, who's 26 years old. Behind strike 2, 94 on that fastball. Ball and 2 strikes on Paulino. And the pitch down and away, 2-2. Paulino could be a guy that, like Centennial and even John Hicks, who was in camp as well with the Twins, they could be part of the catching group for Mike Quade this year in Rochester. 13-2 Twins, 8th inning. And the 2-2 ground ball up the first base line, foul. Tanner Scott, the lefty, brings the ball to his belt. And now the 2-2 high at 98, ball 3. So here's a big power arm from the left side Baltimore has out of the bullpen, upper 90s. And the 3-2, ball 4. It's down and away, so back-to-back men have reached. 2-out single Vielma, now the 2-out walk to Paulino. And here's Mastriani at a base hit. His only time up in the 7th. Danny and I will be back with you tomorrow, radio only, as Mastriani pops it up, fouled on the right field side near the berm and right, and that will land on a play. Kyle Gibson, Jake Odorizzi. Pitching matchup, noon airtime, 12:05, first pitch Central Time. Make the 45-minute drive or so by 75 to Port Charlotte. And the 0-1. And that's down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Among the trades that the Rays made, I won't miss seeing Jake McGee out of the Tampa Bay bullpen when you see that ball club throughout the year. Now with the Rockies. And the 1-1 is up and away, ball 2. Nasty left-handed arm. Always a guy you had to think about when you play Tampa Bay and you were down late in a ball game. 2 on, 2 out in the 8th, and the 2-1 swinging a foul behind the plate. Fastball at 94, 2-2.
Yeah, Corey, anytime you talk about the American League East, you know, Toronto gets a lot of the attention. Of course, the Yankees do, and Baltimore to an extent because they do win. They are competitive, but you don't hear too much about Tampa, but for some reason they've been competitive. When Madden was there, good ball club.
Set in the air to right, playable for Yastrzemski. Back a few steps, he'll make a one-hand catch over his cap, inning over. Twins don't score, they leave 2, 3 outs away from a convincing win. 9th inning upcoming. 13-2 Twins on your home for Twins baseball. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins. There's a great shot on TV a moment ago if you're watching at home on Fox Sports North Plus. A young fan on the berm and left, sleeping with mom and dad. Got the towel out on the berm and taking a nap.
13 runs put him to sleep. Too much offense for him.
Buddy Boshears is the new pitcher. And the tapper on the ground up the first base line. It's going to be fair and fielded by Beresford, who tags out Drew Dosh, the third baseman. And there is out number 1. 13-2 Twins. Second look at Buddy Boshears here in the Grapefruit League. Pitched the opener at JetBlue Park on March 2nd, a scoreless inning. Boshears, big league time with the Angels back in 2013. 25 games, ERA in the mid to upper 4s. He was signed and recommended by Twin scout Billy Milos, who watched him pitch in Indy ball last year, Somerset. Boshears is 27 years old. 6'3", 205. Fastball, low 90s. There's a good curveball. And now the 0-1. Ground ball is short. Vielma will glove this one about ankle high, and a good throw. 2 down. Brian Dozier, a leadoff homer today. Kurt Suzuki with an RBI single. Young Ho Park got on base, scored a run though after reaching on an error. Eddie Rosario with a home run out to right. Eduardo Nunez did leave with an apparent injury. Didn't look too severe at the end, though. It looked bad as he was running up the first base line initially, but as he was leaving the field with Paul Molitor and Dave Prumer, he seemed to be walking much better than he was previously. Lined up the middle, base hit right past the ankle. Bouchier's tried one of those skate saves, and it got by him. L.J. Hose has a 2-out single. 13-2 Twins here in the 9th inning. That's something to monitor later on today. Tonight we'll have some info on Nunez tomorrow. Kevin Jepson made his Grapefruit League debut, a scoreless inning. Taylor Rogers, a scoreless inning. Nick Birdie, a clean inning as well with a strikeout, hit 99 a few times. Baltimore's 2 runs, both unearned, charged to Irvin Santana. Did finish 2 innings through 48 pitches in his 2 innings. And the 0-1 is sent foul. Jose Barrios made his Grapefruit League debut as well. Inning and a third. Did walk 3. Mike Yastrzemski, the batter. And he's behind 0-2. Baltimore down to its last strike. O's at first base. The lefty Bouchier's the sign. And the pitch up and inside. Ball 1.
That's 16 hits. The guys were swinging the bats well today.
1-2 on Yastrzemski. And the pitch, line foul. Bouchier's with a curveball. Bouchier's from Huntsville, Alabama. So makes his home there. And the 1-2, he got him. Good curveball. And Yastrzemski caught looking, and this one is over. Twins win big. 13-2 are now 2-1-1 in the Grapefruit League. Again, the final, Twins 13, Baltimore 2. Back with the totals and summaries next on your home for Twins baseball.